It's time to talk about brand supremacy. Hello guys, one more time and welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and today we have another review in our hands. We're going to talk about WWE Survivor Series, the best of the best. Was it really the best of the best when it comes to pay-per-views? I don't think so. But anyway, in this video I'm going to review two matches. As you know, I only talk about women's matches, so we're going to start with the champion versus champion match, and then we move to the traditional Survivor Series tag team match. Without further to say, let's start with this video. The first match of the night was the champion versus champion match. Raw Women's Champion Asuka against SmackDown Women's Champion The Boss Sasha Banks. If you have a good memory, you probably remember that Sasha and Asuka have battled so many times over 2020. But none of the matches ever disappoint, and this was not going to be the exception. I don't think this was their best match at all. I still prefer their SummerSlam match. This one was alright. A lot of spots were really good, as we are used to when it comes to Sasha and Asuka in ring performance. We all know by now that Sasha and Asuka matches are very fast-paced, hard-hitting. That's why they are two of the best in-ring performers in WWE today, men or women. I always enjoy how Sasha Banks sells the knee strike by Asuka because it looks like her head is going to fall from her body. And they've both usually come with new ideas and new spots to keep things fresh. So I appreciate that. I'm not sure what is it that made me unsure to say this match was overall an outstanding match, because it was alright. I think it was pretty good. Probably the ending was the thing that killed everything for me. That small package that Sasha did for the win. We needed a decisive and clear winner. And I'm not trying to say that the match was bad, but I think the ending killed the momentum it had. But remember that this is just my opinion. I think they both had a great showing. I would also like to add that both of them were in a weird position where Sasha Banks just won the SmackDown Women's Championship in that epic Hell in a Cell match, and she had her first title defense, so she kind of needed this victory to keep her relevance as the top face in the women's division on SmackDown. But on the other hand, we have Asuka, who has been Raw Women's Champion ever since she defeated Sasha for the title in summer. And she also needed the win because her title matches for some reason have been booked poorly. She hasn't really had any memorable contenders or any memorable rivalries so far when it comes to title matches, and it's pretty sad. I mentioned that before in some of my reviews that Asuka needs to be seen as the spectacular in-ring performer and the dominant force that she is. I don't think this is working, and the booking is the reason why. Her character is on point, her moveset have always been on point, so definitely this is the creative team fault. And although I just mentioned that Sasha Banks needed the win, now that I think about it a little bit more, maybe Asuka needed it way more than Sasha. Sasha Banks has just had that explosive rivalry with Bayley, which caught everybody's attention, whereas Asuka has just been defeating random people that nobody cares about. I mean, no shame to Selena Vega or Lana, or even Mickie James, because they are all doing great. They are trying to do their best, and especially Mickie James, who is a legend. But they haven't built any of these three women that I just mentioned as credible contenders for the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. And that's a big problem, because if you don't build your number one contender correctly, people is not going to care about the match. To sum everything up in this match, I think Asuka and Sasha had a good showing as always. Then again, they had better matches in the past, and the ending wasn't as spectacular. I cannot recall any special spots that I would like to highlight besides the selling. Probably the only thing that I can point out are the multiple encounters that they have for each other's moves. I'm sure that the reason for this smoothness in the ring is because they are used to work with each other now. So now that they had that opportunity, they've been able to develop counters or maneuvers to make everything smooth in a match. So congratulations once again for Asuka and Sasha Banks for being amazing in-ring performers. Sasha Banks got the victory the first time she defeated Asuka, despite the victory being very bland. it is a win nonetheless. So that was it when it comes to the champion versus champion match. Nothing special, but it wasn't horrible either, so pretty standard to me. The second and final women's match of the night was the traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw, WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, along with Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Lana, against SmackDown's Bayley, Bianca Belair, the Riot Squad, and Natalya. So before talking about the match itself, let's remember the background of this match. Literally, Team Raw was a mess. They've been trying to destroy one another instead of focusing on being a cohesive unit to face SmackDown. This past Monday night, Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose got taken out of the team, so last minute replacements, Peyton Royce and Lacey Evans came into play. We all know what happened with Lana and the tables. We're not gonna talk about that because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are over it. 3 or 4 times were cool maybe, but 9 times a little bit too much for my taste. When it comes to SmackDown, they added Bayley as a last minute member, Natalya qualified, and what I like about the SmackDown team, not only they showed they were united last Friday night, but all of them also earned their way into the team. Well, besides Bayley, but she's been ruling the SmackDown Women's Division most of the year, so I think her spot is well deserved too. I was rooting for SmackDown, I'm not going to lie, but before talking about the results, let's talk about the match a little bit. So this year we had fresh faces in the teams, which got me excited. But I think the booking was a huge letdown for me. I was expecting something better and the match didn't deliver for me, and I'm sorry to say it. It wasn't bad, but I think it could have been millions of times better. So basically, the focus on this match was that the whole team was bullying Lana and she was not able to compete. When it comes to the positive side, in my opinion, I'm really glad they made Peyton Royce stand out in this match. She had enough time to shine in the early going when she kicked Bayley's head with that jumping high kick that she does. And she also did that deja vu brainbuster to eliminate Bayley. It was a shocker to see Bayley being the first one out, but I am glad they gave Peyton that opportunity, that boost to eliminate the longest reigning SmackDown Women's Champion ever. Besides that, the other person that got a great showing in my view would be Bianca Belair. Belair, since moving to the main roster, she hasn't done much. This match was the perfect opportunity to showcase everything that she can do, and I think she did amazingly. She showed how athletic she is, doing cartwheels and backflips. At the end, when she was alone with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler, she showed how fast and tough she is. Not only fast and tough, but the fastest and the toughest. The reason why I didn't enjoy this match that much, the way they structured the match wasn't that entertaining. I cannot recall any big spots inside the match besides that superplex that Peyton did to Bayley outside the ring that knocked everybody out. And another good spot was Lacey Evans' Spanish Fly on Bianca Belair. Oh, and maybe you could add to the special spot list that crucifix bomb that Liv Morgan did to eliminate Lacey Evans. I believe it's the first time she does it, and I think it was pretty decent. So the elimination list goes like this. Peyton eliminated Bayley after the deja vu. Then Natalya fucked up her pin-up strong submission move. I was smiling when I noticed that she was going to do it, but then it was a mess and she decided to go for the sharpshooter to eliminate Peyton Royce. Such a shame. We haven't seen that move ever since Divas of Doom was a team. Then Natalya was eliminated by Lacey, Ruby was eliminated by Shayna, Liv eliminated Lacey, then Nia eliminated Liv, and we moved to the final moments of the match where Bianca Belair was the only member of Team SmackDown against both Women's Tag Team Champions Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. But instead of giving Bianca a clean elimination victory over either Shayna or Nia, they decided to eliminate Shayna by disqualification and that both Nia and Bianca got counted out. Therefore, Team Raw won because Lana, who hasn't done shit in this match, was the sole survivor. For storyline purposes, I'm happy. I'm really getting into Lana's character, to be honest. But I don't know about this result. I think WWE put themselves into a rough spot. They wanted to have Shayna, Nia, and Bianca look strong, but at the same time, they want to keep Lana's momentum going up. So they literally got themselves back into a corner where neither of the women there could eliminate. So they basically needed to eliminate themselves either by count out or disqualification. Lana being the sole survivor and Nia Jax being pissed off on the outside is definitely setting Lana against Nia Jax match at TLC probably, which is the next pay-per-view. I believe it's gonna be a tables match because Lana and tables are basically synonyms at this point. I would say that Survivor Series women's matches have been better in past years. But then again, you cannot always get 5-star matches. It was decent and it served its purpose, so I guess it's okay. After this showcase, I really hoping to see a push for Bianca or Peyton. I mean, I'm hopeful because they trust them enough to give them a spot in the Survivor Series pay-per-view, but we will see. Overall, I wouldn't say go and watch it. It is not a must-see match, but it could be entertaining for a time filler if you need to watch something. Okay, so that was my review for Survivor Series, the best of the best. Definitely not my favorite pay-per-view this year when it comes to WWE, but it wasn't the worst either. I've seen worse, so it was pretty standard. Go watch it if you want to. Once again, I want to thank you for your support. That's what I always do in this part of the video because you deserve it. If you haven't seen it yet, go and check my Dream Survivor Series women's teams. I'm gonna leave the link over here. And as always, tell me down in the comments what were your thoughts on Survivor Series. Did you enjoy the pay-per-view or was it boring in your opinion? Tell me all of that down below. My name is Alexis and here's my Instagram one more time. If you want to say hi or if you want to give me an idea for a future video, I would appreciate it a lot. And with me will be until next week. So goodbye and stay safe. See ya!